I can only really talk to you, I guess, about the experience of the writer and of the reader in the post-internet world. And to my mind, I think the single most important thing that the internet has done for literature has been to create these communities of readers, communities of writers, communities of people who care about literature. And it's very significant. It's more so than you might suspect. It sounds like an obvious thing, but it is very significant. And I actually want to read to you again from something that was written by my friend Jessica Crispin, the founder of Book Slut. She was over on the screen when that was up. You saw her in a cartoon form. And she actually does look a lot like that, only usually no cape. But she wrote in the Barnes & Noble Review a few months ago, she wrote this. She said, "America is lonely, lonely, lonely. As I woke up on New Year's alone, just like I'd gone to bed, waking briefly to watch the country explode into fireworks at night. Padded into the kitchen, I filled a pot with water to make tea, made a quick wish for email, for something to be left behind after the several minutes spent deleting spam. Something, a link to the New York Times website, subject line said sad. I clicked as I fiddled with my container of tea leaves, and I saw an obituary notice for Rachel Whetstone. Suicide suspected. That name, I know that name, I mumbled. The obituary continued, folding in her poem Sakura Park. And this is from the poem. Some rules of conduct. Refuse to choose between turning pages and turning heads through the stubborn dine alone. Get over getting over. Dark clouds don't fade, but drift with ever deeper colors. Give up on rooted happiness. The stolid trees on fire and sweet reprieve. A poor park, but my own, will follow. I knew her work a little, writes Jessa. A few poems in the Paris Review, some elsewhere. And I think the poems were too true. Steely odes to single women making a lonely go at living in cities, and so I left them where they were. Maybe one day when I'm on solid ground, I'll feel strong enough to examine that thin line between solitude and loneliness, how it disappears at 3 a.m., or during fireworks displays, or when filling the blank that follows emergency contact name. It felt slightly ghoulish later, prowling online vendors for Whetstone's works. I wasn't the only one. The price of her out-of-print books jumped from $7 to $70 in a few days, as if we were trying to keep her company in the afterlife, like some sort of Egyptian rite, by keeping her name on our lips. And I think probably all of us know that impulse in one form or the other. Jonathan Franzen, who has, I think, been in the news for something recently, I can't remember what, but I'm kidding. He once wrote an essay that argued that the best thing about reading, or one of the most important things about reading, was that it teaches us how to be alone. And God knows that is important. But even more importantly, possibly, especially these days, reading and writing can teach us how not to be lonely. And that's why the communities of readers and writers that the internet has created are so vital. And it's because literature cannot exist in a void. Writers need readers, readers need writers, and we all need each other. At least if literature is going to continue being part of the great cultural conversation in America. And the communities that the internet have fostered really could end up preserving that literature, preserving that conversation. There has never been before such an efficient way to connect with other people. And knowing more people, more kinds of people, people from different places, people you wouldn't normally meet, can only help expand the base of knowledge that we need as writers and as readers.